Good morning, YouTube. It's Friday, October the 23rd, 2015. I've been up since dark. I got up and helped get my husband out the door. I do some of the things he's always done before when he lived by himself so he can have a little extra time. Not a lot, but a little. Listen to the hoot owls. We have great horned owls out here, and one apparently likes to sit up on the top of our pine tree and chat with his or her mate down the way. So you can hear ho 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 and then ho 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 bigger, but they'll call back and forth to each other, and it's just I love the sound. So today we're going to talk about ghost stories, and these are true ghost stories. These are things that have happened to me that are real as I know them. I also want to talk to you about Mary Lou Mann, my alter ego. That's who I am as an author. I have a pre-release coming out. It's part of an 8-book box set. It's called Sweet Sensations is the name of the box set. I'll put a link down there. And our story I write with my best friend as Mary Lou Mann is called Cat's Play. And it's what happens when a cat burglar gets caught by her billionaire target. And the target doesn't want to let go of the cat. So it's very romantic, it's sexy, sensual. So I hope you check it out. It's only 99 cents right now. So you can get 8 books for 99 cents. So now, other thing I want to talk to you about is a couple people have asked me where you can get your very own Seek Joy mug. Now this is one of the big ones. I've got a smaller one, but you can see I got big hands for a woman. This is a big deck cup. Here's a iPad mini to compare it to, so you can see that it's a good sized mug. Holds a lot of coffee. And you can get it on Zazzle.com, but I'll also put a link down if you want to go check that out. I've got a couple of other things like Find Your Bliss and Practice Eudaimonia. What? You don't know what eudaimonia is? You don't practice it? Oh my God. I'll tell you about that, as Ember says, in another video. Haha. So let's talk ghost stories. Now, let me think about the very first spooky thing that I can think of. Probably when I was a kid. I was in Louisiana, sleeping in my bed, and I remember waking up and seeing this a knight in full armor, bent over me with this little thing looked up. He was a Caucasian dude, had his, I guess, visor pipped up, and he's looking at me like, the impression I got was, wrong place, wrong person. And he poofed. I wasn't scared. Just seemed kind of weird. And I went back to sleep. Now, some may say it was a dream. Could have been. I don't think it was, but it could have been. And as I grew up, I had a lot more deja vu and things like that. And I think the first real ghost that I communicated with, really actively communicated with, was JG. I lived in a house in Bowling Green, Ohio. It was on Main Street, one of the big old houses they built during the gas boom up in that area. So it was big. It was a 2-story, had a very steep Victorian, not Victorian, but a farmhouse, what they call a farmhouse staircase. So instead of being sloped and gentler, it's really, I mean, it's truly steep. You had to watch your step going down, hold on to the handrail and things like that. And we realized, my housemate Ellen and I realized that we had somebody else living there with us. Lights would go off, the fan would wobble a certain way and then stop if you told it to knock it off. The cats would play with something that wasn't there. And we decided to name her Jewelry Ghost, JG. Because jewelry kept missing. I lost a little half moon earring. I was so upset. One of the first magical jewelry I bought for myself, right? I had a pair of them. And this was in the 80s, so, you know, wearing 2 on one side and 1 short on the other side, or, you know, whatever, was very in. Kind of still is, but it wasn't. My stepfather actually told my mother to tell me that he would buy me a pair of Mexican silver earrings if I promised to wear them at the same time. I went and got my ear double pierced. Got him. He laughed. He had a great sense of humor. He laughed about it. And then I switched them so they were in the right ears for his preference. But I lost that earring, and I said, JG, I need that earring back. Want it back. And I had looked everywhere. The next day, I got up from bed in the morning, I had a little vanity table that was cleared off. Nothing was on it. My earring was dead center. I lost a necklace. Again, a magical necklace. She sold magical items. She sold stuff that was really precious to you. I can't remember what she sold from Ellen. I think it was an earring from a set her mom had given her, something, but very precious stuff. And so I said, JG, knock it off. I need that necklace back. I go down to the kitchen, and my cat's playing like she's chasing something, right? Something that's not there. Hello. And then she reaches a paw under the refrigerator and snakes my necklace out. JG, if the lights went off, you could say, JG, turn the light back on. They'd come back on. Kid you not. Turning off all my little pop-ups, y'all. And another thing JG did was the fan. She would wobble the fan when she needed attention. It was a specific fan in our little dining room, and she'd wobble. And the lights that she turned off were generally in the study. They weren't all over. It was generally in the study. And you could ask her, stop wobbling the fan. It would stop making a noise. Now, one of my favorite stories is what she did to a lover of mine. This person was not somebody that JG liked. Nobody liked this person, apparently. Except me. Anyway, she comes over. She's tired. I'm not. I'm at the table playing games or something with friends. So she says she's going to go upstairs and go to bed. Okay, bye-bye. She goes upstairs and boom, within a minute, she's back down, pale. And eyes like this. I said, what happened? She said, I couldn't get in the bedroom. What do you mean you couldn't get in the bedroom? She said, I tried to go in the bedroom and there was this black shape and it wouldn't let me in the bedroom. I'm going home. Okay, bye. Yeah, I have a Scorpio moon, so sometimes my reaction isn't correct. But JG really didn't like her. She never came back. She never came back over to my house. We just kind of happily parted ways and remained friends. The other thing JG did that was to my benefit, I'm going down those steep staircases, big basket of laundry, and I misstep. Now, when you misstep on those stairs and you've got something in your hands, you got to grab, or you got to, and I was holding onto the laundry. I felt a hand push me back upright, and I made it down the stairs. Other people have told me they had similar incidents in my home. I moved away from there. I did a circle before I left, and I told JG if she wanted to come with me, she could. But in the work that I did, and I never researched this to make sure I was right, I got an image of a 12 or 13 pre-adolescent child, a young girl, who had died on those stairs. So, I never found out what JG's name was. I wonder if I could do maybe I can do an internet search now. We didn't have the internet then that we do now, so maybe I can. I still remember the address and look up and see if there are any deaths in that house. So I moved from there. I also did a ghost busting in that, not ghost busting, ghost wrangling is a better way to put it, in that town. A friend of mine said she felt like she was being stared at in the home she lived in. She lived in an old painted lady, one of the old Victorian homes we had there. And it was divided up into different rooms, or different apartments, so more than one person lived there. So she came and asked me if I would mind coming over, because they knew I was, woo-woo, pagan, witch kind of thing. And I was in a lesbian community at the time, so it was just really just one of those things. The queer community really seemed to be more accepting to me of alternative realities. Luckily, my husband knows all about my past and is fine with all of that. I don't know why I say luckily. If he wasn't okay with it, I wouldn't have married him. But anyway, so I went to her house, and I'm walking around where she lives. Nothing. I walk into the room where she sleeps. Y'all, I walked in the door, and it was like I was standing, I call it a psychic shower. I buzzed up and down, all over, like tingle, 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 tingle. And I said, back up. And my friend took a step back. I said, not you. Because I had literally walked into the presence of the spirit of the house. And it moved away. And that's the first time I remember getting a visual. And not like I'm looking at myself in the camera right now. Not like that. It's more like I look away to a clear space, look back, and I have a memory that I saw something there when I didn't physically see it. But I call it my photograph. I don't know what else to call it. But anyway, I had a photograph of a man, and I told him what he looked like, and we decided to call him Mr. Books, because in the room she slept in, there was a whole bunch of built-in bookshelves way up at the top. The builder of the home had used a lot of space up there, and so we called this guy Mr. Books, and he told me that didn't mean to scare her, but she looked like his daughter, and he missed his daughter. And we said, well, that's fair. That's a fair thing to do. But if you don't mind not hanging around over her shoulder during the daytime, if you just hang out in the bookshelves, and then when it's dark and she's asleep, then yeah, come out and do what you need to do. And he was amenable to that. That's why I don't call it ghost busting. I didn't chase a ghost off. I didn't trap a ghost. Nothing like that. I just communicated with a ghost. Then I was talking to the lady that I was a dog groomer. I owned my own shop at that time. And I was talking to my landlady. She had a shop right up in front of me. I used to go up there all the time and yip-yap with her. And I told her about this ghost that I'd met. She said, what house was that? And I told her. And she said, what do you look like? And I told her. And I said, oh, we just came Mr. Books. And she looked at me with a really strange look. And she said, you just described Mr. Bowles, who built that house. And he died at least 10 years before you moved to this town. Okay. So, in my world, ghosts absolutely exist. Spirits exist. I've seen one in this house, just a brief glimpse. I think it was somebody with a black hat with a white band, or a white hat with a black band. I just got a black and white flash. And it was too high to be one of our cats, right? So, those are two of my ghost stories. I've got others. I've done other house busting. I did one house. It was a clearing. A friend had moved into, again, a shared home, and her room was awful. Awful. I went in, I did a clearing. It was like a whirlpool, cesspool of negativity. I couldn't even tell you it was one spirit or many. I just remember doing the circle, being very, very tired afterwards, having to eat, having to ground. And a couple weeks later, she told me that it was better. She was able to sleep in there, and that everybody else came in and said it didn't feel the same. So that was good. But they decided to she had wallpaper up, I think, and stripped the wallpaper. Underneath the wallpaper, the walls were black with red symbols all over them. Somebody had been doing stupid work. I am not anti-Satanism. Let me just say that. The Temple of LaVey has purpose, and there's a reason for it. I'm not a practitioner. But the left-hand path is not necessarily evil. Let me say that again. It's not necessarily evil. It is for power. And it is for power for self. That's not my shtick, right? That's not how I work. But whoever had been doing this work didn't know what they were doing, and had put up, apparently they just like grabbed a book and put up random sigils and done callings or something, and just basically opened up a portal to crap. So that's why I really warn people, when you're doing work, when you're doing any kind of work, be careful. I don't use Ouija boards because it's just opening up to crappy little spirits who want to come in and mess with you. That's my opinion. I've never done a Ouija board within a closed cast circle. Might try that. Might be a fun thing to try. I've seen and heard too many things with Ouija board work outside of a cast circle. So, not for me. Trying to think of any other good ghost stories I have. I'm probably missing... I'm missing one from Ember. Ember talks about it. I went to visit her. It was for my birthday, and they pretty much just moved in, and Amber says I had to step over boxes, which is not true. That girl, her home is always welcoming and wonderful to go into, even when she thinks it's a chaotic mess. It's not. But y'all know I love me some Ember. So, but we were talking about an entity that she had felt and I had felt in her home as well. And you could walk into what is now her witchy room and feel the, it was just unhappy. It wasn't really negative. It was kind of cranky. And we did some work and we discovered who and what it was. And you can see that on Ember's, I think actually on the one where she talks about me as her tarot reader. I think that's the one she talks about it. But that was a really cool experience because, again, not ghost busting, more like ghost wrangling, ghost communicating. You know, if spirits choose to stay on this side, then we want to communicate with them. We don't want to just go, get the hell out. Yeah, I have done get the hell out spells. I had a really bad experience once. Truly bad. Had done a circle in my home. The circle wasn't closed properly. I didn't do it. It was one of the first circles I was part of. And it was one where we called ancestors in. It was an Ember ritual, actually. And where I met my high priestess. And she's the one I called and said, I don't know what's going on. And she said, well, so-and-so didn't close the circle the way I might have closed circles, so there could be something going on. Y'all, I went to sleep that night. Felt like I woke up, but then I felt like I was in a lucid dream. And something was sexually touching me. Gross. Ick. No. I remember I couldn't get up. I couldn't get up. I was pinned down and I could not move my body. It scared the crap out of me, y'all. And I remember saying, Goddess, help me. And I was a baby witch. I wasn't even dedicated. I was just a baby. But I do remember the light switch flipping on, and I sat up in bed. The light was not on, but I was able to turn the light on. Man, I didn't even shower. I got dressed and ran to work. My shop was right across the street, so I bolted out of the door and went to my shop probably 2 hours early. Maybe I had breakfast at Kirian's, I don't know, but it was ugly. So, that afternoon, after having talked to Lady Liana, who was my high priestess in Toledo, Ohio, I don't remember where I went. I went somewhere and I went in the house and got a smudge stick and then ran back out because the house just felt gross to me. And I lit a smudge stick outside and I went inside. Now remember, I'm a baby witch. I don't know what I'm doing. All I know is that I've got something in my house that I don't want in. So I wander around my house clockwise from top to bottom and said, whoever you are, get the fuck out of my house. You're not welcome. Now, this may not be a banishing spell you're going to find in a book, but it worked. I don't know if it was a smudge, my anger, the words, whatever it was, it worked. I sent it back to wherever it came from and sealed my house up. And then got on the phone with Liana, and through talking, it was just one of those instant bonds. And I still love her today and her daughters and everybody that was in that group. Most of them. Okay, I love them all. And I was invited to come to an open circle with them. And I circled with them for a while before I actually, inbooked when I met them. So I think I saw them Ostara for 3 rituals and then dedicated at Lammas, which is August 1st, 2nd, somewhere in that area. But this is kind of a longer video. Aussie queer. And I know he's giggling now. So, but those are some of my ghost stories, some of my experiences. I've got more. So maybe we'll talk about some of those later if you like them. I'd love to hear yours too. So if you do a video, tag me and let me know. I don't know how to tag on YouTube. So maybe just come back here and leave a message. Even put your video link in. I don't care. I think that's awesome. To your own ghost stories. And let's have a ghost story. Let's have a Halloween ghost story tag. How's that? I've never done a tag, so I don't know if I'm doing it right. Do I have to tag people? Pat the Mage Witch. Ember, of course. Nadia of Lady Jane. And CatwMagick. CatwMagick. How's that? I don't know. Y'all tell me if I'm doing it wrong. Seek joy, pass it on, y'all.